Greetings, young people. This is Principal Kafele, and welcome to another edition of Message to the Youth. Once again, I've been making Message to Your Son videos for about 3 or 4 years. Whole lot of young ladies across America have complained to me about making videos that are solely directed at the young men. They said, what about us? So this is video number 3. Where I'm not solely talking to the young men, I'm talking to the young people. So we call this series now Message to the Youth. So once again, welcome to this latest edition, number 3, Message to the Youth. Let me try to keep this one brief. As you see behind me, as always, I'm here in a hotel. Just finished speaking all day down here in Georgia to educators, to principals, to be precise. And now, before I take it down for the evening, I got a message for you. And that message is very simple. It says, your ability to write properly and effectively matters. Once again, your ability to write properly and effectively matters. What am I saying? Hear me, young people. You're growing up in an age that is far different from the times upon which I grew up. See, when I was coming up, and I don't even want to put the time frame on here because I don't want you guys to see me as being too old. But when I was coming up, there was no such thing as a PC. Nobody had a personal computer, a laptop computer, a tablet computer, a smartphone with a computer. Those things didn't exist. As far as a computer was concerned, that was something, we kind of saw on television. We didn't have one. That was this big frame thing that did the things computers do, but not at the level, at the sophistication that they do now in terms of a personal computer, a laptop, which is what I'm recording this video on. That didn't exist. The tablet, that's a brand new phenomenon. The smartphone, forget about it. I mean, even when I became a principal, cell phones, and I'll give you that year. When I became a principal in 1998, cell phones were brand spanking new. The whole concept of email on a computer, that was brand new. So when I'm growing up as a child, your age, you hear the young figure. I was almost going to say you guys, but the young people watching this video, elementary, middle, high school, even college, maybe some adults. Well, email, you were born into that. Email is just a part of your life. So when we talk about email, and email's not necessarily always being formal writing, but then when we talk about the cell phone, the smartphone, text messaging, that's really what I'm getting to. That form of written communication is so informal that no one really cares about poor grammar, right? Poor spelling, anything that's not up to standard relative to writing a message, conveying a message to somebody. Nobody cares about that. We just type whatever we type and send it. And no one's holding us accountable for punctuation, for grammar, for spelling, the rules of grammar. No one's holding us accountable for that. But here's my point as it relates to this video. I'm saying that in today's times, particularly with young people, but not confined to young people, many of us, this becomes our primary form of writing, of written communication. What we write on a text message, what we write in social media, which the social media rules typically are the same rules for text messaging. So no one's really holding us accountable. So we're using this text message social media language. And as far as the rules are concerned, to ensuring that the grammar is proper, there is no accountability. We just kind of write it the way we want to write it, unless we're following the social media rules, the text messaging rules, which are not rules of grammar. See? So then what happens is the rules of written grammar get lost. They get hazy. They get fuzzy. So now we're so accustomed to how we write in a text message, to how we write in social media, that when it's time to transfer over to writing an essay, writing a report, writing a research paper, many of us, and I'm saying this because I've seen it through the eye test, many of us begin to struggle because we're so comfortable, we're so complacent with how we write informally relative to the text message, relative to the social media, and we can never allow ourselves to be confined to that kind of writing. I don't have a problem with it per se, but I do have a problem when we can't make the transfer and now have the ability to write formally relative to the essay, the report, the paper, the book one day, the memorandum, the whatever it is that we have to write this professional, the letter, where we do want to apply the rules of grammar. So here's what I'm saying. If we're not listening to the teacher and taking the teacher's message seriously in terms of being able to make that transfer, that transition into being able to write in a formal sense, then we're jamming ourselves up for later on in life when we're trying to transition into the career. We're trying to transition into our professional lives and we lack the ability to write professionally, the inability to write professionally because we didn't put forth the effort and the practice when we were younger. So I'm saying here to you, however you write when you text someone, however you write when you're on social media, okay, that's on you. That's your call. That's your fun time. But I'm saying to you, I implore you, young people, make sure that you take seriously the ability to write in a formal sense, to have the ability to write in a formal sense. You must be able to write properly. You must be able to write effectively. You must be able to convey your thoughts, your ideas on paper in a very professional way, in a very strict way, strict relative to strict usage of the English language, of grammar. You must be able to do that. Because if you cannot express yourself in a professional way, as it relates to writing a resume, for example, as it relates to completing a job application, as it relates to writing a personal statement when you're applying to go to college, as it relates to if you didn't go to college, but you decided to be the plumber, you decided to be the HVAC technician, you decided to be the welder, you decided to be the carpenter, and particularly as a self-employed worker, well, you still need to be able to write. You got to write them invoices. You got to write those reports. You got to write those when you write a diagnostic of what the problem was as to why someone asked you to come over to fix whatever the issues are. You've got to be able to write. So there's so many different categories and genres of reasons as to why you need to be able to write properly and effectively. So do not rely on the informal communication, written communication of a text message, of social media, because when it comes time for you to have to write something professional, writing something properly as it relates to grammar, writing something effectively, where someone's going to receive it and formulate an opinion of you based on how you write, you got to be ready. Can't rely on text message language. Can't rely on social media language. You have got to be able to write the English language proficiently, the English language properly, the English language effectively. So therefore, you're in school. Your teachers are teaching you how to do it. All I'm saying to you as I'm closing is you've got to be able to receive it. See, you got to be able to receive it. You got to be able to internalize it. You got to be able to own it. You got to be able to make it your own so that when the time comes that you have got to write, you are able to do so. So now you'll be able to write to anybody. If you got to write informally, you can do that. If you're writing just some short note informally through a text message, you're able to do it. Social media, you want to convey yourself, but you don't necessarily need to be formal, you can do it. But now when it's time to transition into that formal writing, you can do that too. Because you don't know where you're going to land as you go through life in terms of who you're going to become, what you're going to do with your life, who you're going to be professionally speaking, career-wise speaking, your profession. You don't know. You have a plan, or you may not have a plan. So many of us, we just don't know where we're going to wind up. I certainly didn't know I was going to wind up as a teacher, as a principal, as a professional speaker. I had no idea, no clue. But I'm so thankful that I'm able to articulate myself verbally, and I'm able to express and articulate myself in writing. See, those are two vital skills: the ability to communicate verbally, the ability to communicate in writing. We'll get more into the verbal communication in another video. This one's for writing. This one is devoted to writing, and I just want you to be able to take that from this video. So look here, young people, I've said enough. I've gone 10 minutes. Enough said. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's make it happen. This is Principal Kafele. And once again, you must be able to write properly and effectively. Enough said. Thanks for listening. Peace.